Hello everyone, I Dr. R.C. Tripathi, Faculty, Department of MCA from Tecnia Institute of Advanced Studies. Today I am going to give a lecture on the topic software testing. Friends, before we know what is software testing, we must understand that what is a software. Friends, software is basically used to do some type of jobs. Software is basically developed by softwares. So, software is used everywhere. It is used in mobile phones. Software is used in television. Software is used in all the areas. It is used in banking. It is used in the schools. So, we should now understand what is the meaning of software testing. Testing is the process of evaluating a system or its components with the intent to find whether testing satisfies the specified requirements or not. Friends, testing is executing a system in order to identify any gaps, errors, missing requirements in contrary to the actual requirements. Software testing. Now we will discuss what is functional testing. Functional testing, as the name suggests, functional means how the software is functioning. In functional testing, we check the functions of any software. So this is basically known as functional testing. We can further define functional testing as evaluation of programs based on functional requirements to ensure that the program works as it was specified to do, and this is known as functional testing. Friends, functional testing is primarily focuses on ensuring that solution components work as they are designed and they should perfectly meet the business requirements. Friends, functional testing requirement is very important in any software testing. Friends, functional testing is often most complex area in software testing because in functional testing we have to see all the functions, all the components, all the modules of any software. If all the modules, all the components, they are working as per the specified requirement, then we say that the software is working as per the specification. Friends, in functional testing, we map that whatever has been developed and what is the requirement. If the requirement is matching with the developed software, then we say that the software is functionally working, it is functionally okay, and it satisfies all the functional requirement of any software. Now friends, after discussing what is functional testing, what is software testing, it is now next step, and in the next step friends, we are going to discuss what are functional testing criteria. Functional testing criteria means what are the criteria, what are the ways by which we check the functional testing. Friends, there are many ways to check functional testing, and these are discussed in the PPT, in the presentation. There are several methods for testing. Out of several methods, we are going to discuss few of them, and one of them is demonstration. Friends, the word demonstration means to demo, to show the working of the software. So friends, in demonstration, we used to find the operation of any software by showing the working of the software to the people and by checking its working. And in functional testing, friends, what we do, we check that the system is working, we check the working of the system on the screen, and we move from one screen to another, and in this way we check the demonstration process. Another way of demonstration is that to test that a particular field in a software is displayed or not. And friends, in demonstration we also see that the software is working whenever we want to do some inquiry from the software. And demonstration means taking the data from the database and showing it to the user by displaying it on the screen. So this is the meaning of demonstration. Demonstration means to demonstrate the working of any software just by operating it in front of the users. Friends, after demonstration, now we are going to discuss another way of checking any software, and that way is inspection. Friends, inspection means just checking the software just by visiting that place, and in inspection we do not check all the components, we check some of them. And friends, this is known as inspection. Friends, sometimes it is used in combination with demonstration. It requires visual examination of the code. It also requires the documentation part. It also requires the table, and it also requires all the database to be shown to the user. And friends, in inspection we test that when we do some update, then whatever update we do, that update is also saved in the database or not. If the update is saved, automatically saved in database, we say that the software is working. Next one is that we also check that software is giving a report or not. To check the report, we try to find out any type of report which the management wants. If the software is generating a right report, we say that software is perfect. And friends, last one but not the least one, we also check that this, if we put the data, if we enter the data into software, then is that software is able to make table in the database by itself. If by feeding the data, if by entering the data, software is able to make data in the form of table, we say that it is working and its inspection part is perfect. Friends, the last one criteria of functional testing is analysis or special qualification. Friends, in analysis part, instead of demonstration, instead of inspection, in analysis, friends, what we do, we use some sort of tools, we use some types of techniques, we use some types of procedures to check the software, that the software is working or not. And friends, in analysis tool, we also check the limit of the software. Friends, we know that every software has its limitation. No software is free of limitation. So in this part, we also check the limitations of the software, and we also check advantage and disadvantage of the given software. The functional testing, now friends, it is time to discuss that what are the items which we have to check during functional testing. So functional testing is basically a type of testing in which we see and we check that the system is working and its components are working and they are doing the same functions for which they were designed, for which they were developed. So friends, functional testing will often contain the highest overall number of test cases, as it is focused on testing the solution against the following points. These points are: number 1, business rule; number 2, data mapping; number 3, key mapping validation. Number 4, data validation. Number 5, filtering. Number 6, data re-engineering, and the last one is derived calculation. So friends, in functional testing, we check the functions of any software on these parameters. These parameters we will discuss in coming slides one by one, so that you can understand that what is functional testing and what are the various components of functional testing. So friends, before we start, we will discuss first of all that what is business rule. Friends, business rule. Friends, every business, every organization, they run, but for running the organization, for running the business, some sort of rules are also required. So every organization, they have some certain rules, and the employees of the organization, they follow these rules. If all the employees, they follow their rules, then the system works. So in business rule, friends, we see that a particular software is working as per the formula, as per the guidelines, as per the specification or not. And friends, for understanding business rule, we can take one example, and that example is, let us take the example of 3 categories of customers. Maybe first customer is excellent customer, second customer is good customer, and third customer is bad customer. So while we design the software for all these types of customers, if a customer is excellent customer, we may give 5% discount to him. If the customer is good customer, we may give 2% of discount, and if the person is bad customer, we may not give any discount. So friends, once we define excellent customer, good customer, and bad customers, and if after defining these criteria, if our software is calculating the concession based on excellent customer, good customer, and bad customer, then we say that the software is following the business rule. After discussing the business rule, let us now discuss another criteria, and that criteria is data mapping. So friends, let us try to understand what is the meaning of mapping. Friends, in mathematics, the term mapping means if we have 2 sets, then the elements of first set, they are related with some elements of second set. So if the elements of first set, they are related with some elements of second set, then we say that there is a mapping. So friends, in software engineering, we also see data mapping. In software engineering, in software testing, the term data mapping means whatever data we are entering into the computer, and if that data is saved in its right location, then we say that data is perfectly mapped and data is perfectly saved. So friends, functional testing is very complex testing, and in this, friends, we see that the mapping is done perfect way or not. For example, let us take the previous example. If a customer is excellent customer, then the discount to excellent customer must be mapped with 5%. But if the customer is basically good customer, then the discount of good customer must be mapped with 2%. And if the customer is basically bad customer, then the mapping of bad customer must be done with no discount. So friends, this is called data mapping. Once we have defined one type of data, once we have defined discount, and if our software is able to map with customer and type of discount, then we say that this is data mapping. Criteria of functional testing is key validation. So friends, let us try to understand what is the validation. Validation means allowing the right person to use the resources. So friends, in validation, we check the credentials of users. Once credentials are verified, then we allow the customer to use the resources. And if our software is able to identify the credentials, and after identifying credentials, if our software is permitting users to use the resources, then we can say that validation part is okay and validation part is working perfectly. Now friends, let us try to understand that what is validation in functional testing. Friends, validation means allowing the right type of users to use the resources of the computer. And before validation, there is another step which we call verification. So in verification, we check the credentials, and once credentials are verified, then the step validation comes. And in validation, if credentials are verified, then customer can use the resources. So friends, in any software, we have several fields, and every field accepts data accordingly. And if a particular field is numeric field, it must accept numeric values. If a particular field is character field, it must use character values. So in validation, whatever data type has been defined, if the software is accepting that type of data, then we say that it is valid, and then we also say that functional testing is complete. Friends, another method of checking the functional testing is filtering. The term filtering means to filter the required data from the system by using some filters, by using some conditions. So friends, let's try to understand what is filtering in functional testing. The term filtering means filtering the data based on certain test criteria. In filtering, we test that developed software is working fine, or filtering the data for preparing the report which can be used by the management to take the decisions in their offices. Friends, after discussing filtering, now let us try to understand that what is the meaning of data re-engineering. Friends, engineering means developing a software, but re-engineering means whatever has been developed, if that is working perfect, it is okay. If that is not working perfect, if there is some problem in that, then we have to modify that part. So in re-engineering means modifying the part which is creating problem. So this is known as re-engineering. So in re-engineering, what we do, we rewrite codes of software, and after rewriting, we test these codes, and then we check that the software is meeting the criteria for which it has been designed, and this is known as re-engineering. After discussing re-engineering, now let us try to understand what is derived calculation. Friends, I think and I hope you have understood all these points. Now let's try to understand that what is derived calculations. Friends, in derived calculations, what we do, that a system shall calculate interest on daily basis for any loan amount. If the system is calculating interest on daily basis, then we can say that it is working as per the derived calculations. And friends, in calculating the interest, we can use 2-point decimal, we can use 4-point decimal, we can use 7-point decimal. So if we use more decimal points, then the system will give perfect value. If we use less points, then it may not give perfect value, perfect results. Friends, with this, I hope that you have understood the criteria for functional testing. After functional testing, the next topic which we are going to discuss with you is decision tables. So let us understand what is the decision table, why decision tables are required, and what for they are used. So friends, decision tables are a precise but perfect way to model complicated logic. Decision tables are used to enter conditions, they are used to enter switch cases, they are used for writing statements, and they are also used to associate conditions with statements. Decision tables can be used independently, and they can also be used for various conditions. So in decision tables, we make a table, and in that table we have rows as well as we have columns. So if rows are there, columns are there, then every column has some condition, and if the statement is matching the condition, then we go to next step and we check the condition in next table, next column. If it is matching, then we check the condition in next column, and in this way all the conditions of every columns are matched, and for this we use decision tables. Now after understanding decision table, let's try to understand what are the uses of decision tables. The decision tables can be used for following purposes. They are: number one, specifying complex program logic. Decision tables can be used for generating test cases. Decision tables can be used for logic-based testing, and they can also be used for structure testing, and finally the decision tables can be used for checking that the functional testing part is working as per the specification or not. If it is not working as per the specification, then we modify that and we move next. And in all the conditions, all the logics we feed in the table, and then we check the statement for each and every condition, and this is known as decision tables. So with the help of decision tables, we are able to find out, we are able to take the decisions based on certain criteria, based on certain conditions. If conditions are met, then we get some results, and this is why we require decision tables. As the name says, decision table means a table which we can use to take decisions, and that is known as decision table. After discussing decision table, now let's try to understand the structure of any decision table. So here in this we have the structure of decision table. So here the decision table has 4 boxes and 2 rows and 2 columns. So in first row we write conditions, and in second row we write actions. So friends, this is the structure of decision table. Now friends, after understanding the structure of decision table, now let's try to understand what are the conditions which we write, which we mention in the decision table. In decision table, each condition corresponds to a variable, relation or a predicate. And friends, possible values for conditions are also listed among the condition alternative. In decision tables, we also write Boolean values. Boolean values means true values or false values. And if a condition is met, then we go and pass the same statement with another condition. And if that statement passes that condition, then we move to next condition. And friends, a decision table may have several values. Decision table may have several values. It may have extend entry also. And in this way, we can make any decision table for solving any type of problem. To understand decision table more, now let's take one example, and this example is that here we are making a table, and this table is known as printer troubleshooting. Friends, we use printers in our office work, we use printers at our home, we have seen printers at various stations. Sometimes we give print command, sometimes print command is executed, and sometimes print command is not executed. If print command is not executed, that means there are some problem, there is some error. So what are the various types of error which may be there due to that printing is not done? If we write these problems, in a table, then that table is known as decision table. Some conditions may be, some problems may be that printer is not online. This may be one condition. Second condition may be that there is no power in the printer. Third condition may be that your printer is not connected with the computer, and so on, so forth. So if we note down the statement, and if we note down the possible problems, and if we mention the statement and possible problems in a table, then that table is known as decision table, and this decision table can be used to find the problem of any solution. And this way we can take decision that why printer is not printing. After discussing decision table, now it's time to discuss development methodology for decision table. Decision tables are used everywhere, but for making decision tables, what are the methods, what are the criteria, what are the systems, what are the rules and regulations which we incorporate for making decision tables, we will discuss them here one by one. So the term methodology means methods, rules and regulations. So in methodology we have several points. Point number one is determine conditions and values. So every problem is associated with condition, and that condition may have got some values. Values, if we talk in terms of Boolean, then values may be 0, values may be 1. If value is 0, that means the condition is not satisfied. But if the value is 1, that means condition is satisfied. Next point in methodology of making decisions is determine maximum number of rules. So every problem must be defined in maximum number of rules, and these rules must be written in sequential order. Next point in methodology for making decision tables are determine actions. For every condition we must have some action which is associated with that condition, and that action must be mentioned. For example, if the printer is not online, then there must be action for that. An action may be that we must check that power evoking, we must check that printer is connected with the system. Next point in making decision table is encode possible rules. So whatever possible rules are there, they are also mentioned in decision tables. Next one is encode the appropriate actions for each rule, and next verify the policy, and finally friends, in making methodology we simplify the rules for decision making. If the rules are simple, they are easy to follow, they are easy to understand. If the rules are complex, then they take more time and they take more resources. So in making decision tables, we must specify how many rules are there. Rules must be simple, we must verify the policy, and we must mention the action corresponding to all the conditions. So these are points which we mention in making any decision table. Friends, after understanding, after discussing methodology for making decision tables, now it is time to discuss decision tables uses. Let us see why decision tables are there, what are their uses. The use of decision table is to model applications when the specification is given and corresponding specification is converted to decision table. The order in which the predicates are evaluated does not affect the interpretation of the rules or resulting actions. The order of rules evaluation has no effect on resulting actions. Once a rule is satisfied and the actions are selected, no other rule need to be examined. And friends, and finally, the order of executing actions in a satisfied rule is of no consequences. So friends, the decision tables, they are used everywhere, and in decision tables we have some conditions, we have some actions. So every condition is associated with some action, and these actions are performed when the condition is found. Once we are able to find out what is the cause for which the printer is not working, then we try to use actions to resolve that problems. So friends, these are uses of decision tables, and decision table, as I said earlier, is used to take decision while we are working in any office, while we are trying to find out the solution of every problem. Every problem may have some solution. If we note down all the solutions, all the alternate solutions one by one corresponding to conditions, then this makes a decision table. Friends, with this we have come to the end of today's lecture of functional testing, and I hope that you all have understood that what is functional testing, why functional testing is done. You have also understood what is decision table and why decision tables are required. You have also understood the methodology for making decision tables, and you have also understood that what are the criteria which we require for functional testing, and what are these criteria and how these criteria are evaluated, what are the various parameters on which functional testing is based. Friends, I hope that you have understood today's lecture and you have benefited yourself with today's lecture, and We will have more and more live lectures in coming days. Friends, thank you very much.